we're here with Risha Kosakai and the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation on behalf of the Venerable T.K. Nakagaki, who's actually overseas in Japan. For those people who could not come, you can actually, on the little flyer that you have, there's a HTTPS link to YouTube, and you can take that shot and send it to them so that they can live stream and be with us here tonight. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure everybody saw that. You can take that little picture and send that to them. What we're going to do at the very beginning, we're going to have a series of prayers, going to have opening words. Peter's going to talk to you about the wonderful lights that he has, and then later on he's going to provide a prayer. So I'm just turning it over to you, Peter, and I thank you so much. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here and for your time and your love and your compassion. Thank you so much.
Namaste, everybody. My name is Peter Rogina. I'm one of the co-creators of Peace Lights, the lights that you see over on the left, you're right over there. Peace Lights is an internationally recognized symbol of peace, and it's really always a blessing for me to be able to bring this symbol of peace to various events, conferences, concerts, all around the world. The colors that you see during the commemoration tonight represent the different cultures in the world, not the countries, not the religions, not the languages, but the cultures. And the motion represents how those cultures interact and work together to achieve harmony and peace and good energy. Peace Lights is known for its energy. You'll see the word Peace Lights come up in 55 different languages, and we always chose the holiest form of the word light. And the final thing about Peace Lights is wherever it plays around the world, it was originally conceived as an interactive piece, but the interactivity is that the people who view Peace Lights project their own thoughts and intents for peace into the lights and add to the collective energy. So I'll be around. There are plenty of Peace Lights postcards to take back home with you if you want to put it on your refrigerator, so you can always have that feeling of connection to the rest of the world. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful. Now I'm going to give my official words of greeting to everybody. Again, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Risha Kosakai Dharma Center of New York, the Heiwa Peace and Reconciliation Foundation of New York, and all of our sponsoring organizations, it's my great privilege to welcome all of you to the 33rd Annual New York Interfaith Peace Gathering as we commemorate the lives lost in Hiroshima and Nagasaki and renew our shared commitment to peace. We are deeply grateful that the people from many faith traditions and many walks of life have gathered here this evening. Your presence is itself a quiet affirmation that compassion is stronger than division, and that remembrance peace begins within each of us in the words we speak, the way we listen, the compassion we extend to our neighbors, and most of all, the courage we show towards those who are different from ourselves. As a Buddhist, I'm reminded that our lives are profoundly interconnected. What affects one life ultimately touches us all. This is the truth recognized in different ways by every great religious tradition represented here this evening. Though our paths may differ, our hearts meet in the shared aspiration to lessen suffering and to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and reconciliation. May tonight be more than a memorial. May it be a renewal of our own vows to become peacemakers in our homes, our communities, our city, and yes, our world. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's now my pleasure. Oh, well, she's actually going to be doing all that. I was going to introduce Yoshiko Nakamura, but she's actually doing other stuff at the back for us as well, keeping the connection going. So let's begin tonight's program. I'm going to start with Guruji, but as he comes up, I want to introduce who he is. We took time out. I want to introduce who he is. Guruji from the World Yoga Community. Guruji is a respected spiritual teacher and representative of the world yoga community, dedicated to promoting peace, meditation, and universal principles of yoga. Through his teaching, he encourages individuals to cultivate inner harmony as a foundation for harmony within society. His work emphasized the genuine peace begins within the human heart and radiates outward through compassion, mindfulness, and service. For many years, he has participated in interfaith gatherings and peace initiatives at the United Nations and brings together people of diverse religious traditions around shared human values. This evening, he joins us to offer the Hindu prayer for peace. Thank you so much.
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनं पूर्वारिभूमिवन्दनां मृत्योर्मुक्षेयमामृतात् ॐ सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा गच्छन्तु कपात् भवेत् असुतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Thank you, Reverend James. And we work together in the CRNGO committee at the UN. And I believe if we are not doing gathering like this, we will be in trouble. I want you to try every single day. Upcoming year is very important for us. We want to make the change. We don't want any more weapon, not only nuclear, any weapon. We want to spend every single penny for development of the human society. So that's why we work hard. I'm so glad we are here.
Thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much. Next, we'll have Peter offer a prayer from the Jewish faith. Thank you so much.
So it's an honor to be able to be here to offer reflection from the Jewish tradition. First of all, I'd say that I am not a rabbi. I'm not even Jewish. But I am someone who deeply believes that there is a spiritual responsibility between all cultures in the world. And that spiritual responsibility goes past just one religion. I was raised as Roman Catholic, so we actually shared our Old Testament is the Torah of the Jewish religion. And I went to look for takes out of the Torah that were appropriate to this ceremony. And I found one right at the end of the Torah. The last book of the Old Testament is Deuteronomy. And it's kind of like the summary. Moses we've already gone from creating a light all the way through the trip, through the desert and everything. And right as the Jews are ready to go into the promised land, this great uncertainty was there. And so a lot of Deuteronomy is Moses telling the laws and reviewing everything. And one of the things he said, I have placed before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. Now that kind of struck me as being especially relevant here. So the thing that stood out at me, and I've talked to a couple of people about this, my Jewish friends, is the Torah recognizes the power to choose between creation and destruction, to choose between compassion or indifference. And those sorts of choices as humans are something that's inherent to all of us. And certainly Hiroshima reveals the true consequential nature of those choices as we live our lives, and the importance to be on top of that. So choose life. I don't think the words choose life there is a hope. I think it's more of a moral directive for everybody to be able to go out there and take that stance to every bit of every decision that we make in our lives, for technology, for governments, for our daily actions. All of that come down to choosing life and choosing light over that. So the last thing I liked about that quote was that it talked about the future, so that you and your descendants may live. So our responsibility here, and I agree with Guruji that events like this are very important for an ongoing legacy and commemoration of events, but it's also the important link to the youth, that they understand and hear and are able to participate and learn from the best practices that have happened from our combined history. So as we remember all of those who suffered in Hiroshima and all those who died in Hiroshima, may that remembrance awaken this spiritual responsibility that we all share. May that responsibility lead to reconciliation. And may that reconciliation lead to a more peaceful world. And finally, may the youth be the ones that bring that reconciliation. Jewish people have a very special place for youth as sacred links in a continual chain. So let me end with a final prayer, final blessing that is in the Torah. May the Eternal bless and protect you. May the Eternal shine graciously upon you. May the Eternal turn toward you and grant you peace. And may that peace touch every nation, every community, every faith, and every heart. Thank you. Shalom and namaste. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we're going to do actually a Buddhist prayer from Rishiko Sakai. This is more Yoshi. More will help me. We'll be doing several chapters in the Lotus Sutra. Please listen to the words that we're saying. There are two things that are key in the Lotus Sutra. One, that the idea that we all have the Buddha nature, and that we're all interconnected. It's the idea of dependent origination. This idea that from the one comes the many. And so as we remember the people who transitioned, they're still here with us today. Their spirit, their energy, their compassion, their hopes are in us. And so please remember that as we do the prayer. Because we have time. Let's do 2, 10, verse 10, 16. Was it 2? All right. All right. Let it be known that this blaze is indeed a blaze of the way. Here the Buddha's attained supreme perfect awakening. Here the Buddha's role the Dharma wheel. And here the Buddha's endowment Dhamma. Namum Gego Buddham Zarnam Gauchame. May we with all living beings deeply experience the great way and give rise to the supreme aspiration. Dhammam Saranam Gauchame. May we with all living beings praise the riches of the sutra, and mango wisdom is wide and deep as the sea. Sangam Saranam Gauchame. May we with all living beings guide the great community and be free from all hindrances. We put our faith in the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, great benevolent teacher, world honored one, the Tathagata abundant treasures, witness of the Lotus Sutra, the separated embodiments of the Buddha in the 10 directions of the past, present, and future. The four great bodhisattvas, superior brightness, boundless brightness, pure brightness, and advanced brightness. The bodhisattva Mahasattvas, Manjari, universal, sage, my triumph. In all of the bodhisattva Mahasattvas, great bodhisattva, teacher and revered practitioner of the Lotus Sutra, found an ego, great teacher, the one vehicle. O bound of yoga, bodhisattva, the way of compassion, the guardian spirits of Rishakosakai, and the countless heavenly spirits in the 10 directions, and all those who have lost their lives in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. May you all be present among us and know our deep devotion. Namo Myo Renge Yo. The unsurpassed, profound, wondrous Dharma is rarely met in miracle compass. Now we believe and embrace it. May we understand the foremost teaching of the Tathagata. The Sutra of the Lotus of the wondrous Dharma. From chapter 2, skillful means. At that time, the world honored one rising calmly from Samadhi, addressed Shariputra. The wisdom of Buddhists is infinite and extremely profound. The approach to their wisdom is difficult to enter and difficult to understand. It is beyond the comprehension of even Travagas and Pratagam Buddhists. Why is this? Because the Buddhists have been in close association with hundreds of thousands of millions of other Buddhists, fully practicing countless teachings of the way, boldly and diligently advancing, making their fame universally known, having accomplished the extremely profound and extraordinary Dharma. They have taught it according to what was appropriate, but their intention is difficult to grasp. Shariputra, since I became Buddha, I am spoken far and wide, endured with various parables and examples from the past, and by countless skillful means I have led living beings, freeing them from their attachments. Why is this? Because the Tathagatas are replete with skillful means, and the paramita of knowledge and insight. Shariputra, the knowledge and insight of the Tathagatas are broad, great, profound, and far-reaching. With their infinite virtue, their unhindered wisdom, and their powers, fearlessness, meditations, emancipation, and samadhi, they have entered into the boundless realm. Extraordinary Dharma, Shariputra, the Tathagatas are able to distinguish all things, explain the teaching skillfully, use gentle words, and bring joy to the Lord of the full. In essence, Shariputra, the Buddhas are fully accomplished, infinite, boundless, and extraordinary Dharma. That is enough, Shariputra, I say no more. Why is this? Because the Dharma the Buddhas have attained is understood only rarely and with great difficulty. Only a Buddha, together with a Buddha, can fathom the ultimate reality of all things. That is to say, among all things, each has such an appearance, such a nature, such an embodiment, such a potential, such a function, such a cause, such a condition, such an effect, such a reward, and from the first to the last, such an ultimate identity. Namyo Renge-kyo. Namyo Renge-kyo. Namyo Renge-kyo. The Sutra of the Lotus Lamb, the Wondrous Dharma, from chapter 10, teaches the Dharma. After the passing of the Nakagaki, there are good sons and good daughters who desire to need the norm of flowers and run to the more groups. After they teach it, these good sons and good daughters should enter the abode of the Nakagaki, put on the robe of the Nakagaki, and sit on the seat of the Nakagaki. Then for the sake of the four groups, they should widely proclaim this sutra, the abode of the Tathagatas of great compassion and heart for all living beings, the robe of the Tathagatas of flexible and forbearing mind, the seat of the Tathagatas, the emptiness of all things, abiding their family in these, they should generally teach this Dharma flower sutra far and wide, the Bodhisattvas and the four groups. Namyo Renge-kyo. Namyo Renge-kyo. Namyo Renge-kyo. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. May these merits extend universally to all, so that we all living beings together accomplish the Buddha way. Namyo Renge-kyo, Namyo Renge-kyo, Namyo Renge-kyo, Namyo Renge-kyo, Having respectfully recited the great vehicle sutra of the Lotus Bound, the wondrous Dharma, may we transverse merits to and thus reciprocate the boundless compassion of the eternal Buddha Shakyamuni, great benevolent teacher, world honored one, the Tathagata abundant treasures, witness of the Lotus Sutra, the separated embodiments of the Buddha in the 10 directions of the past, present, and future. The four great Bodhisattvas, superior practice, boundless practice, pure practice, and steadfast practice. The Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, Manjari, universal, sage, Maitreya, and all other Bodhisattva Mahasattvas, great Bodhisattva Nichiren, revered practitioner of the Lotus Sutra, found in Ego, great teacher, the one vehicle, co-founder of Myogo Bodhisattva, the way of compassion. The guardian spirits of Risha Gosakai, the guardian spirits of Risha Gosakai of New York, the guardian spirits of member families of Risha Gosakai, and the countless heavenly spirits in the 10 directions. We reverently offer and transfer the merits of this recitation to all our ancestors and all others who are recorded in our memorial registers, all those whose Memorial Day is today, and especially those from Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and all those who have advanced beyond known and unknown to us, wherever they be, so that they may delight in the days of the Dharma, and quickly accomplish the wondrous fruit of supreme awakening. We earnestly pray that with help of divine guidance and protection, all living beings may awaken to their Buddha nature, and world peace be achieved. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. They're ready. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That's from in Japan, right? You're saying they're ready. Thank you so much. The live streaming was perfect timing, or a little bit, but I got a little emotional there as I was chanting that. We have the live stream. We're ready right now from Japan. So I just got the message. Thank you so much. Arigato. So we're going to watch. I'm going to switch to the people in Japan. Thank you so much.
取れますってことは今黒取ってる。どなたか2社目呼ばれました。なんかその後、あ、何？俺も2社目とは聞こえたけど。
まもなく式典が始まります。式典の順序について皆様にお知らせいたします。式典は原爆死没者名簿奉納、式辞、献花、黙祷、平和宣言、報給、平和への誓い、来賓挨拶、広島平和の歌合唱、以上の順に行います。なお、式典の開始前に原爆犠牲者の方々に対します懸垂を行います。
The ceremony will begin shortly and will proceed as follows. Dedication of the Register of the Atomic Bomb Victims. Address. Dedication of wreath. Silent prayer. Peace declaration. Release of dose. Commitment to peace. Messages from distinguished guests. Hiroshima Peace Song. Before the ceremony starts, a ritual offering of water will be held at the cenotaph to comfort the souls of the atomic bomb victims.
ただいま行っておりますのは、原爆犠牲者の方々に対します懸垂でございます。
The ritual offering of water is now being performed at the cenotaph to comfort the souls of the atomic bomb victims.
81年前のこの日、炎の中で水を求めながら亡くなられた方々のために、市内17カ所から集めた聖水を捧げております。
In this ritual, pure water collected from 17 locations in the city is solemnly offered to the victims who died in the flames while seeking water on this day 81 years ago.
「
誰が言ったか聞いていい？そんな空気感だったっけ？
定刻となりました。
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to begin. We will now commence the Hiroshima Peace Memorial Ceremony.
平和記念式を行います。広島市
The mayor of Hiroshima and representatives of the bereaved families will now dedicate the register of the names of the fallen atomic bomb victims.
The
register now being dedicated contains 4,393 names of the atomic bomb sufferers who died over the past year, making the total number of atomic bomb victims and sufferers who died in subsequent years 353,639. Address by the chairperson of Hiroshima City Council. Address. Today, we are joined by Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, distinguished guests, Hibakusha, and bereaved families, as well as citizens from Japan and around the world at the Peace Memorial Ceremony to pay our deepest respect to the many souls of the victims of the atomic bombing.
多くの御霊に対し謹んで哀悼の誠を捧げます。81年前の
81 years ago on August 6th, a single atomic bomb annihilated the city of Hiroshima in an instant, claiming countless irreplaceable lives. Those who survived carry with them physical and psychological wounds that will never heal. Even still, they continue to convey the reality of the atomic bombing and appeal for the preciousness of peace based on their fervent plea that no one else should ever suffer as they have. In spite of this, the international situation continues to worsen. There's no end in sight to the wars and conflicts happening around the world, and concerns over reliance on nuclear weapons and enhanced nuclear capabilities grow only greater. However, with the G7 Hiroshima Summit and the awarding of the Nobel Peace Prize to the Hidankyo, now, more than ever before, all eyes are on Hiroshima. Peace awareness in civil society is also greater than ever, evidenced by visitor numbers to the Peace Memorial Museum, which have been the highest ever recorded for 3 consecutive years. Hiroshima achieved a remarkable recovery from the catastrophic devastation by the atomic bombing, thanks to the tireless efforts of our predecessors and warm support from both home and abroad. Today, our city continues to grow as a city full of charm and vitality, where people from around the world gather, learn, and communicate. To all who visit Hiroshima, including those in attendance today, as you take in both our past history of devastation and recovery and the current state of our cityscape and citizens, it is my hope that you will keep in mind the peace that lies in everyday life during your time here. Encouraged by your understanding and compassion, Hiroshima City Council will continue our city planning work for Hiroshima, a symbol of peace, and hereby reaffirm our pledge to work in solidarity with the people of the world and do all in our power to realize lasting world peace and the abolition of nuclear weapons. In closing, we offer our prayers for the peaceful repose of the souls lost in the atomic bombing. We sincerely hope that the Hibakusha who still suffer from the after effects and their bereaved families will receive strengthened comprehensive care and support from the national government. August 6, 2026, Norihiko Hachijo, Chairperson of Hiroshima City Council.
献花
Dedication of
Hiroshima
flowers.
Shicho.
Mayor of Hiroshima City. Chairman of the Hiroshima City Council.
遺族代表
Representatives of the bereaved families. Children's representatives. Representative of the atomic bomb survivors. Prime Minister of Japan. Speaker of the House of Representatives. Speaker of the House of Councilors. Minister of Foreign Affairs. Minister of Health, Labor and Welfare. Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture, Chairman of the Hiroshima Prefectural Assembly. Representatives of Nagasaki citizens. Secretary General of the United Nations. Representative of Mayors for Peace. Next, the dedication of flowers by the representatives of Hiroshima citizens.
まもなく
The clock will soon strike 8:15. On the toll of the bell, for repose of the souls of the atomic bomb victims and for realization of lasting world peace, let us offer a 1 minute of silent prayer. Everyone, please rise. Silent prayer. End of silent prayer. Please be seated.
Peace Declaration by the Mayor of Hiroshima City. Peace Declaration. Even now, 81 years after the atomic bombings, right here on Earth where we live, we still see military invasions using nuclear weapons as tools of intimidation, as well as other imperious actions by major powers in violation of international law. This year's Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, or NPT, review conference failed for the third consecutive time to adopt a final document. The responsibilities for this failure lies with political leaders who place blames on others to justify their own behavior. The words and actions by such leaders shake the foundations of global peace and stability while ignoring the obligations set forth by the NPT. If this continues, mistrust will deepen around the world, driving us back towards the rampant greed of the World War II era. Downplaying the inhumanity of nuclear weapons and accepting the use of force to pursue one's own prosperity risk cycles of violent retaliation that could ultimately result in another Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Please, take a moment to listen once again to the experiences of Hibakusha who lived through devastation. A woman who was 16 at that time recalls her kind old sister. She sees her sister's face, skin rotting away from her skull, teeth exposed in a lipless mouth. It was such a nightmare, she couldn't believe what she saw. Another woman, exposed to the bomb at the age of 3, suffered through the years from a serious series of illnesses, then leukemia at age 55, having been diagnosed with A-bomb disease, she lived in constant fear. Where would it strike next? A man who was 9, in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has claimed the lives of many civilians, begs us to overcome our internal conflicts and embrace each other's perspectives to build a world without violent conflict. He urges our youth, in particular, to begin by thinking deeply about their daily lives. Inspired by the voices of our hibakusha and by actions to convey their will, civil society has continued its activism for peace and nuclear weapons abolition across generations and national borders. However, too many political leaders, still considering nuclear deterrence a realistic approach, accept the international community's legitimization of violence, which simply pushes a world without nuclear weapons further into the distance. In a time when fading memories of war could lead to the use of nuclear weapons, we must learn again the lessons of the past, lessons that led to the founding of the United Nations and the drive to abolish nuclear weapons. Each and every one of us must reject all forms of violence and take action to build an international society determined to make the ideal of nuclear abolition a reality. To this end, I make the following request of our youth. Please build deeper connections with people of differing values across national borders, and in the process, share joy, fun, dreams, and hopes. Many young people around the world are deepening their relationships by learning here in Hiroshima and elsewhere about the atomic bombings. I urge you to communicate your thoughts, get involved in your wider communities, and do in your daily lives whatever you can for peace. Such efforts will help cultivate a global culture of peace based on mutual respect. By making the abolition of nuclear weapons common sense in the international community, you will help create an environment that does not allow policymakers to rely on nuclear deterrence. The city of Hiroshima will work with our 8,589 member cities of mayors for peace to promote the culture of peace worldwide and strengthen efforts to pass it on to future generations. We'll continue campaigning to spread the spirit of Hiroshima. Policymakers of the world, civil society demands the immediate abolition of nuclear weapons. How much longer do you intend to disappoint us? Surely, you understand that any use of nuclear weapons would inflict catastrophic damage on humanity, and that nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament can only be addressed through multinational efforts. Leaders of nuclear weapon states, you bear primary responsibilities for nuclear disarmament. You must surely recognize the imperative to lead by example. World policymakers, please come in person to visit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Please confront our tragedies directly and heed our hibakusha's aspirations for peace. Civil society fervently hopes that during your visit, you will send messages to the world expressing your determination to abolish nuclear weapons, then implement policies to achieve that goal. We urge the Japanese government to remain deeply conscious of the high ideals enshrined in the Constitution of Japan and continues to occupy a place of honor in international society. Precisely because we face a challenging security environment that could lead to division and even conflict with other nations, we request tenacious, persistent diplomacy without imposing sacrifices on the people. Japan must manifest and implement continuous contributions to international peace and stability. To that end, We urge Japan to begin by participating as an observer in the November's review conference of the Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, then ratify the treaty without delay. Furthermore, we strongly urge that measures supporting the hibakusha, whose average age has exceeded 86 years, be enhanced in a manner that addresses their ongoing hardships and struggles, based on frameworks appropriate to support all hibakusha, including those living abroad. Today, marking 81 years since the atomic bombing, we offer our heartfelt condolences to the souls of the victims and pledge to do our utmost to achieve the abolition of nuclear weapons, leading to lasting world peace. Once again, we issue our call to civil society as a whole. Guided by the hibakusha-inspired spirit of Hiroshima, let us work together in heartfelt unity to change the world. August 6, 2026. Matsui Kazumi, Mayor of the City of Hiroshima.
Commitment to peace, children's representatives. Commitment to peace. How would you feel if something you cherish vanished in the blink of an eye? The reality today is that while we are together laughing and smiling, irreplaceable lives are being lost. Even as we speak, people are robbed of their ordinary day-to-day lives. School uniforms in tatters, a bento box charred black. These are testimonies of ordinary lives lived. 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945. One single atomic bomb turned the everyday lives of so many into a living hell. Horrors of people with hair singed in purity and covered in burst blisters, with burned skin hanging from flesh, cried out, "It hurts! It hurts so much! Help me, Mom! I don't want to die. There's nothing I can do for you. I'm sorry." The painful realization that you're going to die and suffering of having to keep on living is too horrible to even imagine. As the last generation to hear about the atomic bombing directly from the hibakusha themselves. It is our duty to embrace the memories as the reality of the past. The willingness to learn with open eyes, coming face to face with even the saddest aspects. That is where the truth of those who wanted to survive and those who kept surviving lies. We, as the children of Hiroshima, have a responsibility to take action, a responsibility to put ourselves in the shoes of others, to recognize and accept differences in opinions, to express the will for peace in our own unique ways. Each and every one of our steps, small as they may be, will contribute to the realization of peace. Peace is not something that is handed to us. It is something that all of us around the world must build together. Even we, our children, are part of this and will take our first steps toward peace. To deliver the future of irreplaceable things we cherish and the steadfast hope. August 6, 2026. Children's representatives, 6th-year Hiroshima City Takasu Elementary School, Kakizaki Yu. 6th year Hiroshima City Konan Elementary School, Kono Kazuki. Addresses Prime Minister of Japan. Today, this morning marks 81 years since the atomic bombing. As Prime Minister of Japan, I respectfully offer my sincere condolences to the souls of the atomic bomb victims here in Hiroshima, and extend my heartfelt sympathy to those who still suffer from the after effects of the bombing. On that morning of 81 years ago, a single atomic bomb severed the daily life of Hiroshima in an instant, and irreplaceable life of each and every person was mercilessly taken away. The city was reduced to ashes, and the life that so many people had built up day by day, and all their hopes for the future were lost in an instant. Even those who narrowly survived were left not only visible wounds, but also lasting suffering. And the memories of the sorrow beyond words were etched into their hearts. As this city, once reduced to ruin, stands restored today, The memory of Hiroshima continues to ask us who live today how fragile human life and dignity are, how easily they can be lost, and how precious peace is. The tragedy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the indescribable suffering of so many people must never be repeated. Japan firmly upholds the three non-nuclear principles and the only country to have suffered atomic bombing in war. For the realization of the world without nuclear weapons, we bear the mission to continue our unlimited efforts. Today, the global security environment is growing ever more severe. As we saw at the recent review conference of the party to the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation Nuclear Weapon (NPT), the path toward a world without nuclear weapons is by no means an easy one. But that is why we must not halt our steps. In order to lead the efforts of the international community toward the realization of the world without a nuclear weapon, Japan is determined to call for the maintenance and the strengthening of the NPT regime and continue realistic and practical measures under the Hiroshima Action Plan. Also, conveying and passing down the realities of the atomic bombing across generations and borders are important as the starting point for all efforts toward nuclear disarmament. Together with Hibakusha, who shared the devastation caused by the use of nuclear weapons and the wish for peace for so many years, and with younger generation who carry forward those memories and their wish, we will do our utmost effort to promote understanding of the reality of the atomic bombings. For Hibakusha, we'll advance comprehensive relief measures in health, medicine, and welfare, thinking that each and every atomic bomb survivor now advancing in years will continue to ensure that support they need reaches them. In particular, regarding the recognition of atomic bomb diseases, mindful of the feeling of the applicants, we will strive to conduct the screening as swiftly as we can so that they receive the result as soon as possible. The people of Hiroshima were deeply wounded but they rose again with great strength and have continued to convey the message of peace. And the message is now spreading across generations. I was told that the register of the atomic bomb victim dedicated at the cenotaph today was inscribed for the first time by young people chosen through public application, working alongside Hibakusha. With the memories of Hiroshima, the wish for peace is being passed on surely to next generation, and that has made possible by unceasing efforts of the people of this city. Paying the deepest respect to those efforts and keenly aware of our responsibility to pass on to the next generation a society where people can live in safety and peace of mind, I pledge here in Hiroshima to devote our utmost effort toward a world without nuclear weapons and everlasting peace. In conclusion, I offer my prayers for the repose of the souls of the atomic bomb victims and the inner peace of the bereaved families, atomic bomb survivors, today's attendees, and the people of Hiroshima. August 6, 2026. Takaichi Sanai, Prime Minister of Japan.
Hiroshima Kenjitsu.
Peace message by the Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture.
被爆81年を迎えるにあたり、
On this day,
原爆
81 years after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima, on behalf of all people of Hiroshima Prefecture, I wish to offer my humble and sincere prayers for the souls of those who lost their lives in the atomic bombing, and to extend my deepest condolences to the bereaved families and express my heartfelt sympathies to the Hibakusha who are suffering even today. The beautiful waterside city of Hiroshima, where we are now, was the scene of a tragic reality caused by an atomic bomb dropped 81 years ago. The tremendous destructive power of the bomb incinerated many people in an instant, demolished buildings and infrastructure, and blocked out the sun. The bomb claimed as many as 140,000 lives within the same year, and many more were lost in ensuing years. Even those who survived the atomic bombing have since been suffering from pain inflicted by physical injuries, radiation exposure, and psychological trauma. Last year, 80 years after the atomic bombing, some hibakusha summoned the courage to voice their experience for the first time with an intense urge to tell children what disastrous outcomes were produced. Many hibakusha described the years after their own survival as the living hell. They have had extremely harsh experiences they can scarcely put into speech. We must sincerely listen to the words and unspoken thoughts of hibakusha. Is there any meaning in harming everyone and destroying everything with a nuclear weapon? The fact that reliance on nuclear deterrence continues to play a significant role in security policy worldwide brings me a sense of deep sadness and fierce anger. As states make nuclear threats, refuse to rule out preemptive strikes, and expand their nuclear arsenals, accordingly, the risk of nuclear weapons being used keeps rising. Nuclear deterrence can work only on the premise that nuclear weapons will ultimately be used. Therefore, it contains a fundamental contradiction as it fosters distrust among nations, fuels the arms race, and destabilizes the world. We must break away from nuclear deterrence, facing up to the reality that the very act of pursuing nuclear deterrence is triggering new wars. Every human being wishes to live in peace and safety. That wish is common to all humanity. Why can't we help each other in the face of hostility and walk a path toward prosperity together? A hibakusha said, "I haven't felt the kindness and warmth of other people so deeply as I did right after the war." Immediately after the atomic bombing, many people began to enter Hiroshima city to rescue those affected by the bombing and closely supported those who were facing death and those who were narrowly escaping death, although they themselves were being exposed to radiation amidst the ruins. The spirit of mutual support among human beings ignited a beacon of trust and hope and drove reconstruction efforts forward, leading to what Hiroshima is today. The world now also needs the very spirit of building peace through trust and cooperation instead of conflict or violence. We must gather all the wisdom of the world to overcome distrust and hatred, to achieve security through relationships of dialogue and cooperation, not only between nations, but also between people, and to build a world where everyone can live like human beings. Mr. Shigeaki Mori, a hibakusha who passed away earlier this year, declared, "There are no national borders for the tragedy of an atomic bombing. A nuclear weapon does not harm only the nationals of a particular country. It gravely wounds all people who live there and even future generations. Humanity and nuclear weapons cannot coexist. I call on world leaders and people around the world to take action to ensure that nuclear weapons have no place in our future. Let's work together to abolish nuclear weapons." I hereby pledge that Hiroshima Prefecture will continue our efforts to share the voices of people in the atomic bombed area with people around the world and to realize a peaceful world without nuclear weapons. That concludes my message of peace, August 6, 2026. Mika Yokota, Governor of Hiroshima Prefecture.
The Secretary General of the United Nations. I'm going to read the message of the Secretary General on his behalf. 81 years ago, Hiroshima was reduced to ruins. Tens of thousands of people were killed. And our world came face to face with the catastrophic power of nuclear war. Today, we remember what happened. We honor the memory of those who lost their lives. And we pay tribute to the survivors, the hibakusha, whose numbers grow smaller each year, but whose message of peace is as vital as ever. This anniversary is more than a solemn day of remembrance. It is also a moment of reflection when we ask ourselves, have we learned the lessons forged in flames here 81 years ago? Will humanity choose a future of peace? Or will we continue to live under the shadow of the nuclear annihilation? We gather at the time of deepening geopolitical division, rising mistrust, and intensifying competitions. The norms and guardrails that have helped prevent the nuclear cataclysm are under strain. The decades-long trend in nuclear arsenal reductions is reversing. The global norm against nuclear testing is under threat. Worldwide military spending jumped to $2.9 trillion in 2025. Nuclear savers are being routed once again in the name of power and coercion. The horror of nuclear weapons is just one lesson of Hiroshima. Another is the need to build a world in which the threat or use of these weapons becomes unthinkable. Peace is not secured through fear and might. Peace is built through trust, through sustained investment in dialogue, diplomacy, and international cooperation, through an unwavering commitment to international law, through all states, especially those possessing nuclear weapons, taking action to reduce the risk, rebuild confidence, and advance toward total disarmament, through strengthening the global disarmament regime, and through a firm rejection of the zero-sum logic that the nuclear weapons are the ultimate guarantee of security, when there are in fact the very opposite. The United Nations was founded to rid the world of the scourge of war. And the General Assembly's very first resolution in 1946 was to eliminate nuclear weapons. That promise remains unfulfilled, but not unachievable. Hiroshima stands as an inspiring example of resilience, renewal, and hope. Across generations, its people remind us that even after the darkest moments, we can choose and build a different future. In this 81st anniversary, let's act with clarity and conviction. Let's choose dialogue over division, cooperation over confrontation, and common security over narrow advantage. And let's move closer to a world where the tragedy of Hiroshima is never repeated. August 6, 2026. Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations.
And that concludes the addresses. Ladies and gentlemen, while remaining seated, please join us in singing the Hiroshima Peace Song.
これをもちまして広島市原爆死没者慰霊式並びに平和記念式を終わります。ただいまから来賓の方々が退場されます。ご参列の皆様はその場でお待ちくださいますようお願いいたします。
This concludes the Peace Memorial Ceremony. We ask that you please remain seated while our distinguished guests exit the ground.
Hana Yasuzuka, and we'll have it on the video. Then Top will be next.
Hello everyone, my name is Kana Yasuzuka. I'm 19 years old and I grew up in Hiroshima, Japan. I'm currently attending a music college in Tokyo. Do you know that Hibaku violin, which still exists in Hiroshima today? That instrument was exported to the atomic bomb 81 years ago at a location 2.5 kilometers from the ground zero. This violin, which miraculously survived, is filled with the wishes for peace and hope for the future of many people. Every year, I play this instrument at the memorial service held in front of the atomic bomb dome. And people from all over the world come together to reflect on peace. What I have been growing up in Hiroshima can do is to spread a message of peace from Hiroshima to the world through music. Music enriches the soul and connects people across national borders. What we need right now is not weapons but music. Please listen to the sound at the Hibaku violin, which I performed at the UN Church Center in New York on April 22nd of this year. Thank you so much.
became a successful businessman and has devoted his life to preserving Japanese American history, civil liberties, and peace. In 2023, he was honored by the New Jersey Senate for his lifelong contributions. And let's all give him a round of applause.
Thanks, James. Good evening. Welcome to 33-year Hiroshima and Nagasaki Memorial Service. How time flies. Reverend Nakagaki was in his mid-30s, and then I was late 48. Boy, time has changed. This program we started last year. Isn't that nice? I mean, we have to go through translating back in 32 years ago. Mayor Hiroka couldn't speak English. We had to translate it. We only given like 24 hours notice. So they couldn't give away the message. Of course, the Mayor Akiba, Mayor Matsui, they're fluent in English because they were educated here. That was a lot easier. This evening, our chairman, Michi Takeuchi, had health issues and couldn't make it this evening. But she's been all over the world. She painstakingly made documentary by herself and later assisted by professionals. But it's been all over the world. And it's been very well renowned. And we wanted to get her feedback this evening, but she was not able to. Perhaps maybe some other time. As James has said, I was born in internment camp during World War II. This because of the World War II, I was product of war all my 82 years of life. Followed by Hiroshima because our grandparents, both my mother's side, my father's side, were victims of atomic bombing. In fact, we spent about 11 years there. You see the program tonight. I left there back in 1956. I was 11 years old. And Hiroshima has become, Hiroshima came a long ways to where they are today. Let me see. I'm getting a little senile, so I have to take a look at some of my notes here. And in Hiroshima, I had experience with my relatives, my uncle, and my classmates, and all of them were victims of atomic bomb. My uncle, for example, was 12 years old, and he was clearing the road when the B-29 at nighttime, they would bomb Hiroshima city. And then a 12-year-old kid from elementary school, he was clearing the road, and atomic bomb hit that August 5th year, 8:15 in the morning. He was saved by the concrete building, but his face, his body was all burned. I remember my mother saying, when you see your uncle, don't ever mention his scars. He did have stigma. And one of my classmates, I remember back when in third grade, we used to go to Hiroshima City, look at the pictures. And we saw the gory picture of Hiroshima movie. I don't think they would let a kid see that movie. In the film, they mentioned my classmate's last name Endo, and she had lost her father in a bombing. And I heard her cry halfway through the movie. We're all wondering why she was crying. She saw the name. She thought he was her father. So all these things, the tragedy, but I was able to see in Hiroshima. But one thing that still reminds me of Hiroshima, back in 2016, when President Obama went to Hiroshima to pay respect, not to apologize, but you have to see the faces of people in Hiroshima. I know my wife and I were watching that a little bit away from the park. I have never seen so many people smile when he finishes the speech. And at that time, I was able to go back to my alma mater, Gilman Elementary School, but make a speech about war and peace. And well, my time is up.
No, you're good. Keep going.
But at that time, I'd asked that one of the students, sixth grade, you probably saw the sixth graders today, just like them. And in Japan, they have a program called Heiwa Gakushu, which means that they study about war and about peace, fifth and sixth grade. And I asked the kids, how can you achieve a peace in the world? And you know what he said? He goes next to his kid, he put the arm around it. All you gotta do is, and he smiles and says, all you gotta do is be friends with him. In Christian, say, love thy neighbor. This is all it takes. But really, leaders of today, they have not faced what war is all about. It's cruel. It is very cruel. I fought in Vietnam. It was very cruel. And you never appreciate peace. You never know how priceless it is to realize what peace is all about. And tonight, you're sharing with us this particular event so that we could propagate peace around the world. Again, I want to thank you for coming and hope to see you next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for those warm words. Very important. Thank you as always. We now have a musical interlude on the video, and then we have some final words. Thank you.
We actually are going to be singing a song with our Japanese friends and allies called Never Again Atomic Bombs. And before we hear that song in Japanese, I'm going to share the English translation. Our hometown was burned to the ground. We laid our family in the scorched earth. Now white flowers bloom. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our town. Affected ocean in our hometown. Black rain. No joyous days. Empty boats. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our ocean. A somber sky looms over our hometown. Dark clouds covering the land again, blocking out the sun. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in our sky. Our fellow victims have departed. The wealth and happiness that we worked so hard for. Everything was destroyed. Never again atomic bombs. Never again another use of atomic bombs. Not in the world. And now we will hear the original Japanese lyrics.
これから原爆を許すまじの歌の披露をします。
こっち見て。はい。ふるさとの町やかれ、身寄りの骨埋めし焼け土に。今は白い花咲く許すまじ原爆を痛み許すまじ原爆を我
喜びの日はなく、今は船に人もなし、ああ許すまじ原爆を、痛み許すまじ原爆を、我らの海にふるさとの空をもく黒き雲、今日も大地を今は空に日もささず、ああ許すまじ原爆を、痛み許すまじ原爆を、我らの空に腹からの絶え間なき労働に築き上ぐ人たち、今はすべてついえ去らん、ああ許すまじ原爆を、痛み許すまじ原爆を、世界の上に。ありがとうございます。
アコーディオンはポール・スタインさんでした。ありがとうございました。
ここの前でいつもその平和のお祈りとかをしてたので。
Thank you. That's great. Last we have is Mr. Nobu Kumoto, Chairman of the New York Nagasaki Kenjikai. Nobu Kumoto was born in Nagasaki as a second generation Hibakusha. He serves as Chairman of the New York Nagasaki Kenjikai, Vice Chair of the One World Nagasaki Council, and President of UNIVIA America, promoting peace, education, and international understanding. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you, please come.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Nobu Kimoto, as James introduced me. I'm the president of the New York Nagasaki Kenjinkai. And then second generation atomic bomb survivor from Nagasaki Prefecture. I have lived in New York for 29 years. Today, let me briefly share the story of my father, who experienced the atomic bombing in Nagasaki. My father was born in Nagasaki and was 12 years old at the time of the bombing. The day the atomic bomb was dropped happened to be a school day. He witnessed the moment of the bomb fell. Immediately after blinding flash of light, the school's window pane shattered and blew inward at once. He also saw victims, people who were still alive but severely injured, laid out in rows across the nearby elementary school playground. Many had faces and bodies that were horribly burned and blistered. Most of them apparently died right there on the playground, unable to receive any medical treatment. As days passed under the scorching midsummer sun, a whole odor began to smell from the bodies of the deceased, making it impossible to even approach the school. My father told me he could never forget that smell for the rest of his life. Later, a large pit was dug in a section of the hill behind the school to bury the bodies, and mounds of earth were raised over the burial site. I remember that even when I began attend the same elementary school years later, there were still areas designated as off limits. My father passed away 4 years ago at the age of 89. As this shows, the actual survivors of the atomic bombings are almost leaving this world. I believe that we, the second generation survivors, have a mission of to faithfully pass on the experience of the survivors to today's young people. Although the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons has entered into force, the current reality is that if one of the major power possessing vast nuclear arsenals exercise its veto to the United Nations, becomes unable to pass resolutions, resulting in a state of dysfunction. I believe it is essential for each of us as citizens to foster awareness throughout civil society, driven by our firm determination to ensure that nuclear weapons are never used again. A world free of nuclear weapons will not come about it if we simply wait for it to happen. We must take further steps to create a movement for abolition of nuclear weapons. a goal essential to humanity. I believe we should take concentrate action while simultaneously connecting the world online, sharing information, and broadcasting these efforts globally at the grassroots level. It is paramount that each individual Korea recognize the fundamental principle that nuclear weapons must be banned. This collective awareness shapes the mindset of society as a whole and fosters a new norm, where nuclear weapons are viewed as illegal acts. Conflicts among the world arise from clashes of interest. However, this doesn't mean we must subscribe to the idea that world peace is impossible without nuclear deterrence. No one starts a war or seeks to massacre others out of preference. To guide the parties involved toward a mutually acceptable resolution, we must we must propose solutions that takes the entire planet into account. For this, willingness to engage in dialogue while truly putting oneself in the other party's shoes is essential. We must deepen our discussion basis on the understanding that the world cannot function if nations prioritize only their own interest. It is crucial that we find common ground and craft solutions together. While the thought and actions of single individual may seem small, it is when society as a whole acts with shared conviction and awareness that we can truly drive change. What I wish to emphasize is the vital importance of each citizen taking interest in the issue of nuclear weapons, understanding their true nature and the ban treaty, and holding to share a social consensus that advocates for moving from disarmament towards the ultimate goal of nuclear abolition. Thank you for your attention.
We're coming to the end, and we're going to have one more musical interlude, and then we're going to have the prayer. The song that we're going to be listening to is for the Blue Beautiful Star, and then we'll have closing remarks by Venerable T.K. Nakagaki.
Please have the courage to stop killing and violence. Once again, to the leaders of the countries and organization at the time of the conflict, please listen to the message from Hiroshima, which knows the suffering of hell. Stop the killings and the violence, and the world will praise you. Deep in our hearts, we all want a tomorrow without killing and violence, and with smiles on children's faces. I beg you to stay calm and break the cycle of resentment and hatred in our generation. then the world and happy world will surely begin from tomorrow. Let us adults take action now. Please stop the killing and violence immediately.
One, two, three, four. War peace. Come on, let's work for peace. War peace. Let's walk towards peace. Heiwa, Heiwa. 諦めない世界平和。平和。さあ上を向いて。綺麗なこの星が黒い雲に覆われてる。人が互いに憎み合う。きっと心の闇のせい。大地を飾る花たちはいつも笑顔くれるのに、森の中で鳥たちは生きる喜び歌うのに。さあ行きますよ。World peace. Come on, let's walk for peace. World peace. Let's work towards peace. Heiwa, Heiwa. つなごう世界平和に意志。平和。歌いながら行こう。笑顔で進もう。命と今日はどう届くか。今日は泣いてる for tomorrow だけを信じて進もう。明日はさに青く綺麗な星のために。7つの色の虹のよう雨上がりの大空に世界中の人たちで作ろう心の架け橋。希望の街で私たちは違いを優しく語ろう。それは明日笑顔になり必ず心をつなぎ合える。よしよ。World peace. Come on, let's walk for peace. World peace. Let's walk towards peace. Heiwa, Heiwa. 諦めない世界平和。平和。さあ上を向いて。こういうわけのさ。夢を信じる強い思い。みんなの笑顔を守り。勇気を出して手をつなぐ。青く綺麗な星のため。World peace. Come on, let's walk for peace. World peace. Let's walk towards peace. Heiwa, Heiwa. つなごう世界平和の意志。平和。歌いながら行こう。笑顔で進む。We can go. World peace. Come on, let's walk for peace. World peace. Let's walk towards peace. Heiwa, Heiwa. 諦めない世界平和。平和。さあ上を向いて。こういうわけのさ。こういうわけのさ。
We're going to now have a final prayer from Venerable T.K. Nakagaki.
Hello, everyone. Can you see or can you hear me? Yeah, okay. So, thank you very much. I'm in Hiroshima and attended the ceremony that you saw before, and I believe you have a lot of messages about peace, how we create, but especially for me, the interfaith is one of the way to bring the understanding and mutual understanding, mutual respect, and also try to create the peace among the interfaith different groups of the revision. And so I feel like that's always the important part, because since this ceremony started 1994, and when we started, also we began with the interfaith, simply because the peace cannot achieve by only one revision or one particular denominations. And so instead, we should have each of the revision should be the part of the peace creation. And so we are actually creating peace all together, and that's very, very important. And in order to do that, I think we need to be through the interfaith, like this gathering, we could be talking different things and know each other, or share their own strength or even weakness, and or differences or similarity. But then by doing it, that's the practice of dialoguing. Well, first of all, you can't just push your own view only, not listening to the others, but rather you just want to listen, and then also try to think, and then the situation, and then we have a dialogue, will be born right that way. And so I feel this is interfaith part of this ceremony itself is a creation of peace, or making efforts of creating peace among us. And so there's but then one message that I've been sharing in Japan is something that this is like a Japanese, but there's a saying like mizaru, iwazaru, kikazaru. These are monkeys, 3 monkeys. Zaru means like a saru, the monkeys are saru. So mizaru, iwazaru, kikazaru. Miru means look at. So maybe when you go to Japan, you've seen some of the 3 monkeys are doing like one closing eyes and say, do not see. Right? And then the other one have ears closed like this, so don't listen. And the last one is close your mouth and saying, do not, talk. Or do not talk, something. But then so this is avoiding difficulty, but yet, then instead of try to, close your eyes, of course, don't close your eyes, and so you can open up your eyes and try to, when we do the dialogue, you always need to open up your eyes, and then where you, instead of closing your eyes, you have to open up your eyes to listen to each other, and then instead of shouting out, closing your mouth, you try to share of your thoughts, of your revisions, and so forth. So those are very, very important quality. But at the same time, there is also kind of importance of the other thing, which is sometimes, we really need to say sometimes, but then instead of do not say, but then try to say the things that we really need to say. We don't have to say the things that we don't, really need to say. There's so many things that repeated, but yet, something that this is very important, this is very truthful, you want to share. And then sometimes you don't want to listen to everything, right? But yet, something very valuable, very based upon truth. And then we want to listen, maybe based upon sincerity. We need to hear. Okay, and then the last one, also instead of close your eyes, certain things you have to see. Even like experience nuclear weapons, how many people have suffered of all those parts of the body burning and so forth. Of course, we don't want to see, but yet those are the things that we need to see too. So, so those quality of the try to really see the thing that we need to see and try to do that also. Even like, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself a little bit. So maybe I just stop. But yet those three monkeys can close everything, but yet for human beings, you can open it, but also not everything, but then you just try to really understand, see everything in an essential part of the truth. And so I just wanted to share with you that. And then lastly, I'm sitting here in front of the statue, but this statue itself was created by the bones of the people who killed atomic bomb. And then 10 years later, after atomic bomb, so they decide to, there's ashes and bones left. So they decide to make a statue gathering all those nameless bones, and then create this particular statue of Amida, Tathagata, or the Buddha of infinite wisdom and compassion, or infinite light and life. And so this is the statue that I'm sitting here. So this is only probably 2 statues in Japan was made by not the wood, but rather by the ashes, bones, human bones. And so this is the kind of through this statue, convey the message of no more tragedy, no more such things, but at the same time, those hands represent the compassion. And so I'm hoping that this gathering that we have, Interfaith Peace Gathering, will continue, hopefully, and then bringing more people, more understanding each other, and so that may we all attain perfect peace and enlightenment. And by the way, here's the words that you probably see is a peace. And then how you create the peace is, of course, we can start with us, right, within ourselves. And probably every day, how you create the peace. So I hope you're practicing the peace every day. And we experienced a peace walk this year, by the Vietnamese monks and Theravada monks to walk from the Texas to Washington, D.C., and they are all over the world too, Sri Lanka or other part of it. So, and then so those walk for peace is, the Venerable Panyakara explained about the importance of creating peace every day. So, mindful of the peace. That's what we can do. Of course, the world peace is big, but yet, this world itself consists of each of us. And so each of us can change the world from that sense, at least your own world. And so I hope this is a message for creating a peace here. And then actually underneath there is the little words from the His Holiness and Dalai Lama, and also Pope Francis, late Pope Francis. So this is the statue or the stone that we create, and we did a stone walk. You just saw the scene from the last year. Kind of noisy here too, but that's on the next to the street. So I just wanted to thank for everyone to join in today, and so also as an announcement, we do have Nagasaki Day on August 8th. At the 9 p.m. So if you are interested in joining us, at that time we'll also show some film about Mr. Taniguchi, who actually, as I mentioned, suffered from the burn, and but then he became very active in the peace movement of the Nagasaki, particularly. And so, anyway, so I just wanted to conclude here, and then we just in this space, in a way, this space itself is very special. I hope the bell can hear well, but we'll see. Okay. So, please join me in Gassho. Place your palms together and bow your head. And then try to bring peace to yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. And maybe you can touch your heart from the one side. Both hands is fine. And then try to bring peace to you and then to all of the people around you. Let me offer the dedication of merits and also prayer for all those who are gone. So I will just chant Amitabha's name and願わくはこのことと思って平等に一切に施し、同じく菩提心を起こして安楽国に往生する。ナムキエ仏、ナムキエ法、ナムキエ僧。May all sentient beings be happy, well, and peaceful. May we all be free from suffering. May we all be free from pain. May we all be free from attachment, from greed, anger, and ignorance. May we all attain ultimate happiness and peace of enlightenment through the guidance of Buddha's wisdom and compassion. And peace to you all. And thank you very much for joining today. Thank you, James, and then Nakamura-san, and everyone, all the speakers, and prayers for the religious leaders. And so I thank you so much. So greeting from the Hiroshima.
That I'll invite anybody who wants to, before you leave, please ring the bell here. You can do gassho and do like this. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your time this evening. Have a beautiful evening. Please tell me.
本日は、広島長崎原爆被害者、追悼の平和の集まりにお集まりいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。本日試技が始まるタイミングでですね、私ちょっと配信の方に付きっきりになってしまうようなことになったので、最初のご挨拶できませんで、大変失礼いたしました。広島、ニューヨーク広島会の、執行役員をさせていただいております、中村よしこと申します。そして本日の主催の会のですね、ニューヨーク平和ファウンデーションの、 プログラムコーディネーターをさせていただいております。そしてですね、本日のこの会、様々な方々の協力によって、このような形で開催することができました。一つにはですね、こちらの皆さん会場にご到着された後で、平和の祈りのためのですね、短冊にメッセージ書いていただいたと思います。ニューヨークのオリガミセラピー協会の皆様にご協力いただいております。で、それから、折り紙の方のですね、ワークショップをしていただけるということでした。あとは皆様、本日、参列していただいた方々への、お土産のものをですね、ご用意していただいているようですので、後ほど、いらっしゃらなかったら私の方からご案内させていただきます。また、9日、先ほど、TK 中垣先生から、ご案内ありましたように、ニューヨーク時間の夜9時から、こちらは、長崎の日に関しましては、オンラインのみになりますけれども、皆様また集っていただければと思います。